Hey team, next installment in the mental fitness series, coming to you from the French Alps. Oh my gosh, check this out, check out this insanity. Anyway, look, key idea from today that I want you to take away from the first couple of chapters in the book really is that all of your emotional experiences are completely normal. They're all ones that our species evolved to experience. They were useful for keeping our ancestors alive, but you do need to understand that. You have a Stone Age brain in a modern world, and the reason for that is evolution isn't instantaneous. So all of the stuff we experience now is what was useful for our ancestors. And when you think about this, right, unpleasant emotions in our ancestors' environment were really about undertaking challenges, dealing with worries and concerns where there'd be an immediate resolution. Okay, rain clouds on the horizon, worry, find shelter, resolved. Unpleasant emotion, alleviated. Food supplies dwindling, concerned, worried, anxious. That directs me to go and find more, to hunt and to gather. And so our unpleasant emotions from an evolutionary perspective are really just about trying to prompt us to take action, to make change in some respect. Whereas our pleasant ones were about pursuit of reward, getting after something that would actually be useful for us from a survival perspective, or really savouring what we were currently experiencing when it was beneficial, because it wouldn't last. The challenge is the world we inhabit today, it's not this immediate return environment where your emotions are really clear in terms of what they're trying to get you to do. It's more of what's technically called a delayed return environment. And that's where I go, should I put an additional effort at work right now in the prospect of some future reward? Do I need to worry about these health related concerns in terms of the cigarette or this extra burger now? Or am I living my best life? These are things which just don't have the immediate resolution that our ancestors actually evolved to experience, to encounter via their emotional experiences. So here's a really key idea that's useful to you. Your emotions, pleasant and unpleasant, they're not good or bad based on how they feel. That's often the story we tell ourselves in modern life. They're just signals that your body is sending you to try and get you to take action in some way. And in fact, probably the most useful takeaway from today, other than just going, I'm going to stop thinking that I shouldn't have unpleasant emotional experiences, perhaps the most useful takeaway is to just start thinking of your emotions as helpful or unhelpful based on the circumstances you're in, what you do with them and what you get out the other end of them. So I was raised to think, and I grew up in a historical period really, is probably more accurate, where experiencing unpleasant emotions, experiencing fear and worry and that were not seen as socially acceptable for a male. Where I'll tell you this right now, I regularly experience fear, worry and anxiety, but they're just useful signals my body is sending me to try and get me to take action. And by the way, the antidote to anxiety is always action. You just need to think a little bit more in modern life around, what is one step I can take that's in my control that will help me avoid a future risk? Whereas fear is something you only actually experience in the presence of a threat and danger. And I'm going to play you a little clip where I was definitely experiencing some fear and it helped keep me alive. Check this out, team. So I'm at Ridge on the Dolomites. Always scary. I always tell my boys it's easier climbing up than going down. And while it's a hell of a lot quicker and less energy exhaustive going down, it's definitely where you're way more likely to waste yourself. So on that note, I might stop filming. There you go, eh? I was scared, I was worried. Things which I grew up telling myself I'm not supposed to feel as a man, but an absolute load of rubbish. Really useful, helpful emotions for me to be experiencing in the face of a threat where I literally could lose my life if I'm not cautious and careful enough. All right, team, key takeaways. You have a Stone Age brain in a modern world. And by the way, it is wired to worry and for you to experience lots of unpleasant emotions because that helped keep our ancestors alive. Nothing wrong with that stuff. But pleasant and unpleasant emotions aren't good or bad based on how they feel. They're helpful or unhelpful to you based on the circumstances you're in, what you do with them and what you get out the other end. So that's a really useful idea to take away. Stop thinking of your emotions as good or bad and start thinking of them as helpful or unhelpful to you. What would be the useful thing to do with the signal that I'm experiencing right now? All right, team, you got this. Catch up soon. Aroha nui. Big love, big respect.